Hello everyone and welcome to another uh, pool video and this week's books. This week is actually my favorite week, and we've heard comic book day is the best day of the week. Well, for me it's the best. The third week of every month is the best day of the week for me actually, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Before that, a few announcements or remember to check the link below to my blog as I will be continuously posting new reviews throughout the weekend. But at the time of this recording, which is Friday, um, I already uploaded one of the reviews, and throughout the weekend, I'll be posting up the rest. So there might be a couple of posts coming throughout Saturday and Sunday. Um, there might also be early next week an article on Wonder Woman. I'll be writing just some thoughts on the book so far. Some interesting things I found just thinking about the book. So that's probably going to be there on Monday. Uh, what else? Um, so, anyways, let's get to the books. This time around, I'm gonna try to make it quick. That's why I'm doing the much more in-depth reviews on the blog. So I'll try to go as quickly as possible with this. So, like I said, usually the third week of the month, you know, is my favorite week. That's because it's the week that Superman comes out. So, quick thoughts on this book. In fact, its reviews already up on the blog. So, just a few things to note about it. So, Supergirl number 27. This is the second um, issue by the new team of Tony Bernard and Gildred Senior on the book. It's also the second part of the Lobo story. Um, so I really enjoyed this issue. I've been enjoying this new team actually so far. Bernard, who actually started out, he's been around for a long time, but mostly as an editor. So that sort of experience, added to writing, sort of. I think it makes him a much better storyteller. Last issue, it was a really great jumping on point. You got uh, who Lobo is, what Supergirl's been going through. You get all that, but it doesn't lose focus on the story. If you missed last issue, you could pick this up and you pretty much get a sense of what's going on as well. Um, um, and I've enjoying it, and it's clear that with this issue that it's tying up, that it's bringing the elements for the Red Lantern arc that's coming up starting next month. You could say that where it starts, sort of. I don't know, but yeah, starting in March. That's where the Red Lantern arc kicks off. Um, so yeah, I mean, I recommend this book. You should really give it a try because The writing is phenomenal. It's definitely, you could definitely see that that the book is heading in a completely new direction. Uh, so good times are coming for Supergirl, and she's joining the Justice League United team in April. So it's really clear that DC now wants to move the character, from that sort of frustrating self-pity, angry character that a lot of people aren't liking, to a much more heroic um, uh, direction, I guess you could say. So okay, that's it for that. Next, Wonder Woman number 27. I mean, this continues to be the best book that this has been putting out, for a long, long time. Um, and it was a bit surprising because if you remember last issue, it seemed that the story was heading for the confrontation between Apollo, Wonder Woman, and Cassandra over the firstborn. But in fact, he just went to a left turn with, as you can see from the cover image by Cleves Chang, who is once again back on the art. That she goes off to Paradise Island to visit the Amazons, still in stone, um, and even looking for some sort of strength, wisdom, because now, if you recall, Zola left, uh, their Wonder Woman's side, they're being tricked by Strife. She ends up, hanging out with Dionysius, and so Wonder Woman's going to go look for her. But she doesn't really know where she is because Strife's little gift actually sort of cloaks Zola from detection by the gods. Meanwhile, Cassandra is actually trying to find a god so she can actually go to Olympus, and she tracks down Dionysius, and with it Zola and the baby. But after some rather disturbing events with Dionysius, uh, Zola escapes from Dionysius' side, and she finds, discovers that Cassandra is actually just arrived with the Minotaur. So since that things are once again getting a little bit more interesting on that. Like I said, and in fact, Wonder Woman decides to visit Artemis, the moon, to help her, locate Zola, because as you know, Artemis, she's the goddess of the hunt and the wilderness. At first she doesn't want to, but Wonder Woman actually offers her a rematch. If you recall, not so long ago, she and Artemis had a bit of a fight over the baby, and she agrees if Wonder Woman gave her something in return, as always. When you offer something to a Greek god, they're always looking for something. So she actually makes Wonder Woman promise her to grant her a wish, whatever it is. She doesn't know yet, but when the time comes, she'll know. When a woman agrees, she actually lets Artemis defeat her. But I mean, look at this little panel here by Cliff Chang. I mean, she's got something in mind. So you know, she's not. It's not gonna be that easy. I mean, I definitely love this. So, as always, this is a great book of, and so look for the article on the book as well as the review on the blog. Next, Justice League number 27, and I gotta say, I'm not really liking this book, and DC is making it way too easy for me to just drop it. So far, this book, hasn't really been a Justice League book. Uh, that's one of the reasons why I picked Teen Titans over this book as my favorite team book. Teen Titans at least had a team dynamic. Here, you don't get that, and it doesn't even feel like a Justice League book. It just seems like a bunch of heroes thrown in. They're always bickering, and there hasn't even been, a sort of story that's worthy of the Justice League. I mean, it took 6 issues for their origin to come out, and it did a few good things as it spotlighted a few of the characters, though it didn't have a bunch of plot holes in it. Villain's journey, you have a couple of sort of like a prelude to it. You had a sort of like a thing in between, and you had that story, but again, just didn't really. It's not the Justice League. It's, to put it simply. And now that Luthor is gonna be joining after Forever Evil, and the fact that the past 3 issues, were focused on the Crime Syndicate. I mean, which I think that's okay because that back information is always necessary. And with Luthor joining, and I hate Luthor. I'll say it right here. I hate Luthor. I think he's so overused, and when he's overused, and the way Geoff Johns writes him, I mean, I am totally annoyed by the way he writes him. And this issue was a nice waste of paper. I mean, Geoff Johns teased the Doom Patrol. They show up here, and they even show it completely. Actually, had like 2 characters from the Doom Patrol show up. While the rest of the team was, killed off by Johnny Quick and Atomica in off panel, and we spent a whole bunch of pages just seeing how Atomica and Johnny Quick dealt with these 2, Doom Patrollers. And then the rest of the issue is just Cyborg getting the upgrade, having a heart-to-heart with his dad while at it, but nothing really happened that was relevant. Just felt like the whole upgrade thing could have been done in a couple of pages. It just feels so stretched out. That if it continues with this trend, I might just drop it, and I don't drop books that easily. I usually give them a chance, to come together, but this book hasn't really come together despite, a really great arc crossover, Throne of Atlantis, but it's just not doing it for me. The final new book that I bought is Doug Savage from Dynamite, Doug Savage number 2, and this is a Dunning one. It does sort of have, like the previous issue, a sort of open ending to it, like there's all these endings will tie into something. This one actually focused a little bit more on the Doug Savage mythos. We get his Fortress of Solitude. We get to see his cousin Patricia Savage, fighting off, your typical mad scientist hell-bent on taking over the world or making the world pay or something. Very fun issue. The art is, wonderful art. The story is actually written by Chris Robertson, who I believe did the Mysterious Strangers. He actually wrote some Superman as well. But not just a great book. If you missed issue one, you can pick this issue and you get a nice full story. Okay, so those are the new books I actually bought this week. Oh, I did want to comment something about the cover though. Last issue number 1, the cover was based on I believe Jim Steranko's cover to Nick Fury, Agent of Shield number 1. This one is actually homaging the Batman books paperbacks that came out in the 60s. So look at this cover here and look at it. So very, very cool cover by Alex Ross. By the way, this is a Doc Savage thing I picked up some years ago, which is published or was published by a company called Sanctum Productions. There are quite a few of these. They did Doc Savage and they did The Shadow. I've seen a few of these on eBay, but they either are around cover price or a little bit higher. So I've only read read 22 Doc Savage stories. Anyways, so those were the new books, and finally I decided to get a back issue, and this is Ghost number 2, the second part of the mini series that came out in 2012. Smoking Gin, it's called. Is it? Yeah, that came out in 2012. Ghost and Din is the name of the Smoke and Din is the name of the mini series. So 2 more issues and I'll be caught up with the favorite version of Ghost. So those are the books I got this week. Once again, I remind you to check out the link to the blog, so I'll be updating. You can also follow me on Twitter, and whenever a new post is up at the blog, you get the direct link to that post. So thanks for watching. Please leave a comment, and if you've gone by the blog, please let me know what you think of it. If I should, what I should do, what I shouldn't do to make it better. I will make it clear. I will make it clear that I don't, in my ratings, in my reviews, I don't rate books. I pretty much do what I do here, but in much greater detail and with less rambling. So, as always, until next time, keep smiling.